Hello, Bob. This is Wade from FishfinderMounts.com. Thank you for sending me the picture there of all your parts that you have. You do have all the parts you need, as you saw in my email. This is how you would have or should have got your transducer mount components packaged in your package, I believe. Sometimes we may break things up depending on, like you have a prototype product, so we don't really have a box intended for that yet. So we have to rearrange things sometimes. But this is your strap, our strap-on transducer mount that mates, and these are for this washer assembly is actually for Garmin. You got a longer screw in here just in case you come across a different transducer in the future that needs a longer one. But essentially, our strap-on transducer mount mates right in here. There's a pocket and it just slides in there nicely. And sometimes you want to push it this way, up on here, so you can make sure that the whole thing slides in nicely. Sometimes it wants to go downwards and it doesn't actually want to go all the way in, like you see there. It's kind of stuck, but if you push this way and you push in, it'll go all the way in nicely and it'll be almost flush, pretty much flush actually, with the assembly. And then of course you can again push it out just like you see there. Now, the issue that you so if you didn't have this like this, we'll just take this apart because you've taken everything apart, I've noticed. And you do have the root arm. This is the root arm here. It has, if you look at these carefully, you study these look like a lightning bolt shape, like a zigzag. But this, it does not have that same form factor. It has, in fact, it's all square at the top here, and it has 4 large holes in it. That's your root arm right there. You do have it. I saw it in your picture. So, and then ultimately when it's assembled, it's going to look like this. So, we're just going to take this quickly and do this for you. So you got your root arm, or your strap-on transducer mount base. It's going to lock into here. And you're just going to take your root arm, and you're ultimately going to put it on here like so. It doesn't matter which way really. For the side of your boat, you're going to want these little tiny holes as well, sticking outwards as well, looking at you, looking at your face like this. But there you go, and you can just put this larger T-knob, hand tightenable T-knob on there, and then you would take, this screw would have been in there. Again, you can reinsert this screw system if you want, and if you had a Garmin, you'd use the spacer in there because they have 2 mounting points for their transducer, and you just push that in. Some of these are stuck in there pretty good, so I use my foot on the floor and kind of just forcefully push them. Steadily, forcefully push them out. So there you go. Your transducer would be in here before you start to put this guy on. So you put your transducer on, and then you put this guy on here, and then it's all together. And then you just take your wing nut and screw that together. Now, if you decided you needed the extension arms because of where we'll just push this guy out. If you decided you need your extension, like an extension arm, because the proximity to the water and where you assembled it is a little bit further, you take this is like Lego. So this is your root arm, and you'll notice they all have this form factor in the end. It's like a little tiny Jenga puzzle or whatever you want to call it. And you can take that guy, it would be like this. So again, take that guy like that. And you can see the hex trap. So you take your short hex trim screws or bolts, and you push them through, and then you can take this guy, put it over top, and then take your wing nut. So there you go. I pushed it in. I put this guy over top. You take your wing nut, and then you can suck it together. Now what you have is you can take your fork washer that we had on before. We'll reinsert this guy, the longer bolt, at the end of this new extension arm we've added here. So you can see it's the same form factor. You can keep adding these as you desire. Just keep adding them, whatever you like. So you'll get a total reach of 7.5 inches, which is pretty long. So we put that guy on there, the longer one, and this is now where your transducer goes. You slip your transducer over the end here, and you take this guy, your fork washer, we call that, and you push that on, and then you tighten this guy. Oops. You tighten, you just take your wing nut and you tighten your transducer on, which will be in between here and here, of course. And finally and lastly, again, you would slip this back on. And you're going to have this on the side of your boat, so you're going to want to have this guy twisted or rotated 90 degrees, and it'll look, I like doing it like this, where the plastic's going towards my boat and this is outwards away from my boat, that being the screw head, or the end of the screw. And there you have your glue-on transducer mount right there, and then you can easily take it off your boat by just removing it like that. And that's the assembly like you see there. And we have tons of videos on our YouTube channel that would give you a sense of how all this would work too. Although I have to say, I have to apologize, our assembly instructions for this guy aren't the best. I know that, so we have to improve that. So sorry for that. And there you go. Thank you, Bob.